Hello everyone, I would like to read my essay on a chapter of Bertrand Russell's book, The Problems of Philosophy. The chapter is called The Value of Philosophy, and I had this course this semester, so I just wanted to read through it because I thought it was a good paper. It was one of the good papers that I wrote. So there we go. A closer look on Russell's Problems of Philosophy. Bertrand Russell discusses the reason for which philosophy is valuable in the 15th chapter of his work, Problems of Philosophy, called The Value of Philosophy. The main claim of Russell is that he believes philosophy is to be studied not for the sake of any definite answers to its questions, since no definite answer can as a rule be known to be true, but rather for the sake of the question themselves. He then proceeds to expand on this idea by comparing philosophy to other sciences. He also claims that by studying philosophies which lead to contemplation instead of self-assurance, one reaches an intellectual imagination, and that it diminishes the dogmatism and prejudices of the mind. Therefore, he claims, these are what makes philosophy valuable, unlike what the ordinary man might think. I find his claim plausible, and I believe that philosophy is indeed valuable enough to be studied, because as the results have shown over and over again, many other sciences that we study these days, such as the study of the human mind and behavior, which we call sociology and psychology, have all been insoluble questions brought to the attention of many by the philosophers decades or centuries prior. But I believe some of his arguments which he brings up to prove his claim are not complete and have problems which I will explain as we move forward. If we assign value to an area of knowledge by its practicality in real life and definite answers, is it not true then that philosophy is not valuable on its own? If you look at it from a logical point of view, then it would make sense. Suppose we claim that P is a valuable field of knowledge, as it gives definite true answers to certain questions. Now, if we know that P is a result of Q, and Q is in this case questions of philosophy which at the time we did not have certain answers for, then we have the statement, if Q then P, as P exists as a result of Q. So we already said that P is valuable, but here Q would not be counted as valuable. Still, if Q then P would be a true sentence. So if we let valuable things to be true and unvaluable things to be false, we know by the logical truth tables that if false then true is always true. Therefore, this claim of Russell is not supported logically, and the results of philosophy being considered valuable do not necessarily indicate that philosophy itself would be of any value. That is why I think his approach towards proving his claim is not strong enough in this sense. But that is only true if we consider valuable fields as those which give us certain and practical answers. Or we could reach another conclusion, which is philosophy is valuable, but value of a scientific field shall not always depend on the definite and certain answers it provides for our questions. Continuing on his arguments, defending his claim, he says, while philosophy diminishes our feelings of uncertainty as to what things are, it greatly increases our knowledge as to what they may be, which I believe to be true in certain situations and the great reason as to why people should start practicing philosophy. Because in today's society that everyone strongly stands by their beliefs, either religious or scientific, this way of questioning everything and not settling on an absolute answer will lead individuals to become aware of the complexity of the universe and change their perspective on how they view life. This, in fact, makes me think of Socratic questioning, which has been one of the best methods to finding answers for our questions. But there may rise a problem with this way of thinking and skepticism, which often goes unnoticed, especially between people who have devoted parts of their lives to philosophy, who might not be aware of, as they have been so deeply used to this method of thinking. Us as human beings crave for stability and certainty in our day to day lives and are always in search of a definite answer to our questions. That is why religions exist, as no religious person would like it that much if you told them that they might be wrong in their beliefs, or if you were to question the existence of God, of the God whom they believe in. And not only in religion, but in any type of belief system, human beings tend to rather have a fixed true idea instead of doubting those systems of beliefs. Therefore, it could be in a sense against human nature to practice questioning one's beliefs. But it is therefore by learning to do it where great outcomes and results come about. One just needs to be careful the way they approach philosophy in a logical manner. Russell continues supporting his claim by saying that philosophy helps diminish dogmatism by encouraging open-mindedness. This could be beneficial at some point, but endless questioning can lead to skepticism or the sense of losing one's identity or ego. For example, in radical skepticism, where even the existence of the world is questioned, we would face a dead end and be left with no answers and only confusion. If philosophy only ever raises questions while failing to provide logical and practical enough answers, it risks a kind of relativism where no idea is ever considered to be true and more acceptable than another. Then this would not only get us close to the answer, but otherwise lead to no answers at all. This is a counterexample of how philosophy may not get us close to any answers or make us certain about something. The best example for this situation would be in a court of law, where a judge has every right to be skeptical about each and every one of the words of the people, but they cannot afford to remain philosophically just and need to take actions and decisions based on the best evidence available and their ethical judgment. In many cases in real life, philosophy raises great questions while also leading you towards a path of confusion and indecisiveness, which can become, on the contrary, a quiet and valuable use of your time. Another such example would be in the field of medical ethics, which have for long been questioned by philosophy. For example, euthanasia, which has been discussed in medical ethics and philosophy, is a great example to argue against the practicality of philosophy. Although one might have good enough reasons and arguments as to why their belief on this issue is true, but there are some limitations in real life, and it often relies on the laws and scientific advancements. Thank you, that was it. I have not completed my essay yet. I have a few more, one more paragraph or two to add. But I thought I might film this. I don't know how it might be useful. Yep. See you.